It was never meant for public eyes. No press release. No formal proclamation. Just a private letter, locked away behind the heavy oak doors of Windsor, buried in a sealed envelope and entrusted to one of the royal family's most discreet and loyal guardians, Princess Anne. And now, more than 2 years after Queen Elizabeth II's passing, that letter, written in the Queen's own hand, has changed everything. The royal family has always thrived on mystery, tradition, and meticulously controlled appearances. But even in a world of protocol and silence, this revelation has shaken the palace to its core. The contents of the late Queen's secret decree, directed solely to the Princess of Wales, have not only stunned King Charles III, but placed Catherine at the epicenter of a quietly brewing transformation within the monarchy. A transformation that, until now, has unfolded entirely behind closed doors. So what does the letter say? Why was it hidden? And why has it emerged now, at a moment when the royal family faces some of its greatest challenges in a generation? To answer that, we must start with the relationship between Queen Elizabeth II and Catherine, a connection deeper and more strategic than the public ever realize. From the moment Kate Middleton entered the royal fold, there was something different. Behind her calm demeanor and refined posture, the Queen recognized something rare. A natural-born royal, not by blood, but by instinct. Reserved, dutiful, dignified. And perhaps most importantly, unwavering in her understanding of what it meant to serve, not merely to shine. It's well known that Queen Elizabeth was not one for overt affection. Her approval came in glances, gestures, and silence. But Catherine, time and again, was the exception. In private, the Queen spoke of her with pride. In public, she stood beside her with trust. In 2019, when the Queen chose Catherine, alone, to accompany her on a solo engagement to King's College London, the message could not have been clearer. Catherine was being watched, and quietly, she was being groomed. What we now know is that the grooming wasn't just symbolic. It was intentional. According to sources close to the palace, the Queen began drafting her secret decree in 2020, during the pandemic, when the monarchy faced an unprecedented storm of scrutiny, scandal, and uncertainty. With Prince Andrew's disgrace, Harry and Meghan's explosive departure, and Prince Philip's declining health, the Queen reportedly began preparing a confidential legacy plan, one that included far more than succession. And at the heart of it was Catherine. The letter, described by one insider as heartfelt, prophetic, and deeply personal, outlines a vision for the Princess of Wales unlike anything in recent royal memory. This was not a ceremonial gesture. It was a deliberate transfer of moral authority. One line, quoted verbatim, reads, "Catherine, you are the heart of this family's future. Lead with courage, as I know you will." This sentence, written in the Queen's own hand, brought Catherine to tears, and left King Charles reportedly speechless. Because while Charles has always admired and trusted his daughter-in-law, he had no idea how far his mother's vision extended. The decree didn't just elevate Catherine in spirit. It handed her responsibility. It granted her implicit permission to act as a bridge between generations, a mentor to future royals, and a symbolic protector of the monarchy's moral compass. The Queen's message wasn't about titles. It was about power and legacy. And this is where the intrigue deepens. Princess Anne, often dubbed the monarchy's iron backbone, held the letter in confidence since the Queen's death. She could have destroyed it. She could have buried it in the archives. But she didn't. Instead, in the spring of 2025, at what she reportedly described as the moment of critical realignment, she delivered it, first to King Charles, then privately to Catherine. Why now? Behind the smiles and waving hands, the royal family faces a convergence of storms. King Charles's ongoing battle with cancer has left him more withdrawn from public life. Prince William has taken on increased ceremonial responsibilities. Catherine, having announced her remission from cancer earlier this year, is back in the public eye, more composed and commanding than ever before. And yet, this resurgence has raised difficult questions. Who will hold the monarchy together if the king's health declines? Who will embody the continuity the Queen represented for 70 years? In Anne's view, the answer had already been written. Sources say Charles's first reaction to the letter was a mix of shock, humility, and a hint of quiet resistance. It was, after all, a roadmap penned by his own mother, not about him, but about the woman who married into the institution. But in recent weeks, that resistance has reportedly softened. Not only has Charles begun leaning more on Catherine for strategic advice, particularly in matters of Commonwealth diplomacy, but internal briefings now include her in planning for engagements, well beyond her usual portfolio. And what of William? Palace insiders say he was already aware, vaguely, that the Queen had discussed a special vision for Catherine, but not the specifics. Reading the letter reportedly moved him deeply. And it cemented his already unshakable trust in his wife as not only a partner, but a future sovereign in shadow. Outside the palace walls, the reaction has been equally telling. When the contents of the decree were quietly leaked to a handful of senior correspondents, the public response was immediate. Across social media, hashtags like #QueenCatherine, #TheLetter, and #ElizabethsWill trended within hours. Commentators from across the political and cultural spectrum remarked on the unusual tone of the document, its humanity, its intimacy, its prophetic vision. One royal historian put it bluntly, "This is not how monarchies usually transition." But these are not usual times. Indeed, the Queen's choice of Catherine as a moral anchor may prove to be one of the most consequential decisions of her reign. Unlike the formal titles and pageantry of succession, this was something deeper, a personal anointing. The implications are already rippling through the palace. Catherine's calendar for the latter half of 2025 has been quietly expanded. In addition to her patronages in early childhood development and mental health, she will now represent the monarchy at a series of Commonwealth events once reserved for Charles or Anne. Discussions are underway about her presence at the next CHOGM, Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, a role that would place her not only as William's partner, but as a lead diplomatic figure in her own right. Behind this growing visibility is strategy. The monarchy, more than ever, needs a figure who can blend continuity with evolution. Someone who understands protocol, but isn't a prisoner to it. Someone who can appear both regal and real. That person is Catherine. Her recent public appearances, particularly her return at the VE Day commemorations, and her engagement with children at the Royal Chelsea Flower Show, have only confirmed what insiders already knew. Catherine has become the embodiment of what the modern monarchy strives to be: composed, compassionate, and quietly commanding. Yet she carries it all with a rare kind of humility. As one palace aide observed, she doesn't assert herself. She simply shows up and becomes indispensable. Even Princess Charlotte, now emerging in public with increasing confidence, reflects the legacy being passed on. Observers noted her striking composure during the VE Day Tea Party, where she engaged with veterans and families with a grace that belied her age. Royal watchers were quick to compare her to both her mother and great-grandmother. As the monarchy looks ahead, what we are witnessing is not just the rise of a queen consort. It is the formation of a new core around which the royal family may one day revolve. The Queen's decree is not law. It holds no constitutional authority. But in the world of Windsor, emotion can be more powerful than protocol. And legacy, especially one sealed in a monarch's own hand, can shape history in ways no law ever could. As Catherine continues to take on this expanded role, guided now by the written blessing of a queen who knew her worth long before the world did, one question remains. Was this letter meant only for Catherine, or was it a message for us all? In our next investigation, we uncover how Catherine's emerging role is being quietly mirrored in royal education policies and early access to state documents, and whether the Crown is preparing Britain for more than just a future queen. Stay with us.